Hello, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Gaming Podcast Live. What an amazing time. It's Monday instead of Sunday. What a fantastic thing. The Gaming Podcast, for those of you who don't know, welcome to the channel, is the partner podcast of Gayming Magazine, which is the world's only LGBTQ video game magazine. I'm Robin, the founder, and I can't possibly do this alone. I'm joined by the wonderful Mia Byte, my fantastic co-host. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. So glad to be back again on a Monday of all
Monday.
Things. Yes,
What
I usually stream
time.
On Mondays, and I have today, so it's been a little bit awkward because I technically raided into this stream and didn't get to do like the pre-stream chat like I usually do with everybody else. So
well, all the guests are here and they're super excited to be here. I'm told. So let's just go with that.
I'm glad about that. That makes me very, very happy. And yes, of course, yes. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling refreshed. I've been on my little mini staycation here in the UK for 4 days in the beautiful Warwickshire countryside, just outside Stratford-on-Avon. So yeah, I had a lovely time in a hotel with the mothership and my other half. So yeah. How are you?
That's wonderful. I'm doing good. I'm a little bit panicky because I've just literally been running around back and forth trying to get the raid into this correct and like getting everything up ready and making sure the cat was fed because he started meowing in the background.
Oh God, yep, classic.
Yeah, yes. It's all good. We're here now.
We are indeed.
We're here now live. And as a quick reminder, as always, for those joining us live, you can interact both here in the Twitch chat or at the Discord over at gamingmag.com/Discord. Go over there, join the Discord. God, I need to catch my breath today. I've been doing that much running. You know?
Catch your breath because I'm going to do some more talking.
Go ahead.
this is something extra special. So this July, Twitch are celebrating talk shows and podcasts, if you weren't aware, and we are very honoured as the Game Magazine to be part of that featured lineup. As part of it this month, we're changing a few things up, and we are going to be having 2 90-second ad breaks as part of the show. This not only helps obviously support our channel, but it also means that anyone coming into the channel doesn't have to put up with 30 seconds of pre-roll ads. So people can come in and enjoy the dulcet tones of myself and Mia talking crap about video games and our lovely guests, of course, as well.
Yes. And of course, because it's DIGIPRIDE as well, I don't know if you've noticed, but the last several episodes for DIGIPRIDE, the special DIGIPRIDE podcast specials, we've had not 1, but 2 very special guests on our podcast. And this week, our first guest, straight from Xbox, I'm going to get the name completely. I'm going to butcher this name, by the way, is Rose Buahin. How do you pronounce that last name? I wish I was here beforehand. I could have found out, but
Buahin.
Yeah, fantastic. Rose Buahin, welcome.
Thank you.
I try.
How are you doing, Rose?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. We're pretty good.
Awesome.
Mia's flustered and stressed.
I'm flustered and stressed.
You've pulled off a fantastic technical victory. Let's not lie about this. To do this, and I'm not going to make you do it every week. Although looking at the viewing figures, we might do. No, I'm joking. Rose, welcome to the Gaming Podcast.
Thank you.
Let's start off. Tell us what it is you do at Xbox.
Yeah, I'm the Xbox games category lead for the UK and Ireland. So I'm basically responsible for bringing our games to market. I work with some amazing Xbox studios and various internal teams such as marketing, communication, sales and finance, etc. I'm also a fierce diversity and inclusion ambassador. So I work to drive initiatives within the business and also industry activities which kind of assist marginalised groups. I'm a born and raised South Londoner, and I've spent my career working in games and entertainment. So, yeah.
I definitely could hear the South London in there. Fantastic.
You're not posh enough.
Oh well, no, definitely not. I'm like I can barely talk.
Mia's from the Black Country. Like let's not talk posh. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, definitely not posh, but I just pretend. That's what I do. But yeah, fantastic to have you on. Now I know that both as a woman and a person of color, you've probably faced a bunch of challenges in the game industry. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for a while, and I started at a time where there were very few people of color and far less women in the industry than they are now.
Yeah.
So, as you'd expect, I mean, my experiences range from unconscious bias. I've been mistaken for the cleaner when I worked late, even though I was a marketing director at the time. Gender bias. I remember a job candidate once assumed that I was the receptionist rather than the interviewer. Basically his prospective boss. The interview didn't go well, by the way. And
That's
then
whether they got the job or not.
I'd say also overt racism, with offensive kind of jokes packaged as banter. And numerous examples of casual racism, such as questions about my background, where are you really from? South London is the answer. But I think that's why I think it's important to encourage a diverse working environment with greater representation. You hear it a lot, but it is so true. I don't think, why can't we just normalize working with people from different races and sexuality and gender, age, class, religion, disabilities? It shouldn't be that hard. It's just a reflection of the world that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And it's so surprising that like so many people are still so blind to everything that goes on and act like it doesn't happen too. It's ridiculous.
I think it's the fact it's packaged up as a joke as well, or just banter. We've all probably fallen foul of that in a variety of different ways, from people that you probably wouldn't expect, from people that you genuinely sort of had probably some respect for at some point. But even they can sort of get swept up into everything. So you're a member of the Women of Xbox UK group, and a few others as well, I think. Specifically, let's start with the women. Can you explain what the group's aims are?
Yeah, Women of Xbox UK. It's our content series, which launched with a group of uber talented females working at Rare, Playing Ground Games, Ninja Theory, and other Xbox teams. And our objective is to really celebrate the women who work in gaming, sharing industry knowledge and experiences to hopefully inspire young women seeking a career in games. And we recently launched a visual podcast where the amazing Charlie from our team sits down with some of the most influential women across the Xbox gaming world. So you always feel like they're in your living room. You have that first-hand conversational experience. Those are really our main objectives for the group.
That's fantastic. It's great to see like so much more like diverse projects going on at Xbox UK. I actually just wanted to highlight as well, this morning, coincidentally, I actually got sent this little wonderful thing.
Perfectly timed.
So massive thanks. It's almost as if that was pre-planned. Massive thanks to Xbox UK for that. Now, I know you don't have...
I'm also going to just, having just on the back of that, for the audio listeners of the podcast, Mia held up the Pride controller that Xbox is not selling, but you can go to gamingnmag.com/competitions and enter our competition to get your hands on that controller if you live in the UK and Ireland, and also an Xbox Series S and loads of other Pride merch, which also Rosemary I can see is modeling. So this is a wonderful example for heading over and entering our competition. Sorry, carry on.
It's a wonderful Pride Xbox themed sweater for the audio listeners.
Thank you.
We actually had we had Charlie on our podcast a couple of episodes ago, and we were talking about her work in the Pride at Xbox group. From your point of view, how important is it that Xbox has these representation groups?
I mean, it's very important. In addition to the Women of Xbox group, I'm a member of internal groups such as BAME UK, Blacks at Xbox. I'm also part of the core Microsoft DIGIPRIDE team. And these groups really allow me to celebrate my culture, race and gender, but also drive education and shared initiatives across the company, so everybody can celebrate my culture and race and gender. I think from a business perspective, representation groups show our commitment to building stronger diversities in our employees, our studios, our partnerships, right? Which in turn, they create better experiences and content for our players. I think that at Xbox, our consumers are at the heart of everything that we do, and I love that Microsoft worked to ensure that the people behind the scenes who create the games are as diverse as those who play them, right? That was really important to me in joining.
I will say, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to repeat my usual catchphrase that diverse companies make diverse games. It just happens.
And I was just going to highlight again how wonderful it is to see like the continued support for the community, the LGBTQI community at large. It was so nice that on July 1st, I still went to the Xbox UK page, and the rainbow branding, the flag branding was still up. You weren't one of the companies. I was just like, it's July 1st now. Tear it all down, tarmac over the rainbow crossing in the street like some places may have done. But it's been great to like see that continued support, because obviously, as we always say, queer people aren't just queer people for Pride. We're queer all year round. So
exactly, I often say it should be a sustained celebration, right? You just maybe heightened it at June, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That should be the viewpoint.
Fantastic.
June, Eurovision, and maybe LGBT History Month. Those kind of like bookends of the sort of the spectrum of where we should make the rainbow look a bit extra.
We've got to take Halloween as well. We're coming for Halloween.
Oh shit, Halloween! Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, true.
That's the event, Halloween.
That is true. That is true.
Dope. So Rose, I know your time is very precious. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving us some of that time and joining us to talk to us about your work and life at Xbox. It's been a really cool experience.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Rose.
Thanks so much.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. We are going to take a short break, and when we return, we are going to be back with the wonderful Shura. We'll see you on the other side. Hold on, now we're back. We're back.
There you go. We're back.
We're back. It worked. Sort of.
Super odd format.
Yes, it's a new format. We hadn't rehearsed it. Let's do it.
Format. No rehearsals. We're doing it live. Damn it, we're doing it live.
It is a live podcast.
I thought like my personal podcast that was planned was going to be the car crash podcast, but it seems like
no. This is not a car crash. This is going fine.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's going swimmingly. We definitely need music in those intermissions. So definitely.
More than likely, but I'll work on that for the next one.
This will all be cut out and posted. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to the Gaming Podcast live. Again, DigiPride special, 2 special guests, and our second special guest next up is the fabulous, wonderful, you may have heard of them, Shura.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
It worked. It looks like it's working.
It is. Thank you. Bit of confidence. That's what we need.
I love this. I love this for us.
Yeah, it something always goes wrong on this podcast, and I'm very happy that today is like, despite
going well.
the new format, it's going perfectly.
It is.
I was saying to you in the private chat that I'd lend you my music for the intermission, except I don't really own it. So
Yeah. That'd be the fastest way to
That'll be the DMCA strike dealt with.
Yeah. Yeeted immediately.
That's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. How are you doing anyway? Thanks so much for coming on.
I'm clinging on.
That is the best we can do at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm good actually. It's nice to sort of I don't normally have any stream related things on a Monday. It is a Monday, right?
It is a Monday, apparently.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. This feels like a treat. Little treat. Thrilled to be on.
Excellent. Well, we're absolutely delighted to have you. And so we're going to crack on with the show. We always kick off the podcast with our weekly recaps, things that we've been doing, things that we've been playing, and things we've been watching, etc. To be honest with you, I've only been playing one thing. It's called Mario Golf. I've been having an absolute whale of a time with Mario Golf. It's just everything you want in golf. From Mario and everything else, it's absolutely fantastic. The concept of it is really clever. It's kind of has a bit of an Animal Crossing feel. There's a village that you run around. The adventure, they have an adventure setting, so it's like a very loose story kind of thing.
They have like a single player RPG mode.
Yeah.
Like the older ones. That's really cool. Yeah. I didn't know
and you have to sort of do battles and that sort of stuff. But you also have like free play formats,
golf battles. You just take that drive, you just swing it around their head. That's
smash it into a Goomba.
Can you hit people with the golf club?
No, it's not that exciting.
That's a shame.
It's not that exciting. They have done a very clever job of not making it violence related with the golf club. It doesn't turn into Scarface halfway through. It's about playing certain shots in certain ways to sort of to attack people. It also has some great things like speed golf, where you sort of play your shot and then you have to grab your clubs and you have to run after the balls. And then it turns into a little bit of Mario Kart, where you can pick up coins along the way and do boosts and this sort of thing, and then get to the ball and then hit the ball again. And
this doesn't sound like a real game. This sounds like you're making this up. It sounds insane.
It literally, it's literally for me. For a golf game.
Are you sure this wasn't a fever dream that you had when you fell asleep?
It sounds like a dream that someone would type the Dream channel in Discord.
And then we were running around with a golf club and just whacking.
Yeah, and there was a talking mushroom, and it was something that I when I saw it was announced. Was it announced last year? One of the Nintendo things that they
E3. I think. Oh, wait,
I think it was last E3. Was it last E3?
They did a Nintendo Direct. It wasn't last E3, but it was like
earlier,
start of this year.
I think it was like I thought it was October, November.
Maybe.
Somewhere.
What is time?
What is time?
Who knows anymore?
Somewhere there was a Nintendo Direct, and they just revealed it, and it was like a fever dream. It's like someone just got cracked up and just was like, what if Mario played golf and there was Mario Kart and a bit of Animal Crossing, and all of this all happened together, and then we sold it for £50. And I bought it.
I do actually have a copy of the game. I just haven't had a chance to give it a go yet, but I'm super looking forward to it now that
it's good. It really is good, and it has a bit of Wii Sports built into it, because you can use the Joy-Cons to actually to actually do the motion, but you don't have to. You can play as a normal person, sort of sat on the sofa minding your own business. That's literally, genuinely, I've been so busy the rest of the time. That has been my only game that I've been playing. Of course, my other update, I'm just trying to pull it up, is related to DigiPride. We're now into July. DigiPride, I hope everyone
busy because you've just been so organizational.
Absolutely. I hope everyone had a fantastic Pride month. But DigiPride is 3 months long. We're only just getting started. And we announced, obviously, on the 1st of July, what was coming up in July. I'm going to quickly run through that real quick for those people that are here. And basically, on the 8th of July, so this Thursday, we have a Twitch front page exclusive. Good God, that's going to be nervous. And we are joined by the wonderful Sasha Coward, who is a queer historian. And he is giving a talk entitled Space Invaders, A Queer History of Video Games. So that is an hour long on Thursday at 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 1 p.m. Pacific. That should be really good fun. The wonderful Evalicious, fantastic drag streamer from Portugal. She is going to be streaming on July the 9th, and she's going to be doing a Let's Play with us, which is based around Kiwi, the fantastically... it's a beautifully cute game of two mailroom birds in New Zealand, and you have to sort of bounce them around to put stickers on parcels and ship them out and type on the keyboard and all this sort of stuff. It's really, really cool. Knowing Evo, she's going to be dragging up as a bird or something. Last year she did one for us where she dragged up as a rabbit to do Radical Rabbit Stew from the same developer. So yeah, she's going to be nice and chaotic. And then on the 23rd of July, we have a very, very special treat, which we're not going to talk too much about right now, mainly because it's still being worked on. But Meabyte and Nicotine and the rest of the fantastic people over at Transmission Gaming are having a Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout Most Prideful Tournament. 32 fantastically trans people coming together to play Fall Guys in a chaotically beautiful way. Mia, do you want to...
Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're still working out the details, and if you are a transgender content creator or you know any that you want to get involved with it, we still have spots open. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Sure, what have you been up to in the last, with all your stuff recently?
The last week I've been redecorating my apartment, and whilst I have been not redecorating, I've been playing House Flipper because redecorating wasn't enough for some reason.
You had to get in that digital redecorating.
Yeah, I just needed to eat, sleep, dream, plaster, and paint. No, but I'm just, just chilling, trying to playing video games, trying to write some songs in between playing, because I didn't really realize this is something that I was going to end up doing 3 times a week when I first started it. But then I really enjoyed it. So I'm just kind of figuring stuff out and covered in paint. I'm really tired. Redecorating is hard. It's one of those things that's it's enjoyable for 10 minutes and then it's you just want to stop, but you've started and so you can't.
You can't stop.
It looks weird.
I know those feels. Like I always like love using the roller to paint the wall. So for again about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I get that. The novelty wears off. It feels really cool. I feel really butch that I'm doing some sort of DIY. And then I got bored. I get a few strokes in and go, my back hurts.
And you convince yourself of stuff like, I don't need to do the ceiling. The ceiling's fine. And then you do all the walls and you're just looking up and you're like, I really need to do the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. And then you sort of think, do I need to move all the heavy furniture or can I just sort of poke around the back of it? But you sort of, before you know it, you're kind of negotiating you always need to poke around the back. Oh, okay, you move the furniture.
Definitely move the furniture. I will say though, your setup right now looks fantastic. Though it's a very white wall, so I imagine that you did that job fantastically. Loving the mood.
Oh yeah, no, painted it all myself. Regretted every second of it.
That's fantastic. I guess I could talk about my week if you'd
go for it. What have you been doing?
All right, so I'm exhausted. Let's just start with that. It's I've been hard at work, like with Pride Month, like doing so many things with that. And then randomly, Square Enix announced that they were doing a Final Fantasy 14 collaboration with Twitch. And somehow I got involved with that. So I've been nonstop playing Final Fantasy 14 on stream for God knows how long, which has been fun.
I've never played a Final Fantasy in my life, ever.
You've never played a Final Fantasy in your life? Oh,
yeah, I've never.
Okay.
I'm not against it either. I just haven't.
I'm trying to think now. Like I'm literally having a mental block of like trying to figure out
Where
where
do you begin?
should begin. Exactly. So it depends. Have you ever played an MMO?
Yes, for the first time since I began streaming, I did, but I was kind of slightly frightened of them prior to streaming.
Yes. I understand that. So Final Fantasy 14 is the Final Fantasy MMO, and it kind of like pulls from all the different games. They're all kind of like separate stories, so they're not sequels. You don't really have to play any other of the games. You could literally just jump straight in. And the nice thing about Final Fantasy 14 is that it's actually free to play up to level 60, including the first expansion as well. There's a whole meme around that. I'm not going to do that here, chat. Don't even ask me to. But yeah, if you like MMOs, give that a go. It's got a pretty cool story. You have to get through a lot of dialogue though, and unfortunately,
I love dialogue in games. I love dialogue in games. It gives me like time to like have a sip of my tea or a vape or you know. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but it's not voiced dialogue. That's the only problem.
Got it.
Yeah, and I made the mistake of voicing every single character in the game. Myself.
No wonder you're tired.
Yeah, I'm very tired. But that's been a lot of fun. Played through the Stormblood expansion, which was fantastic. It's about taking down a fascist occupation of a land. So that was a lot of fun. Just getting rid of the Empire in that area. Because they're awful in the actual story, and there is some horrible stuff in that game that they do to people and that people do to others as a result of that. So yeah, very very adult, very quickly. And I probably could have done without seeing a few of those storylines, but we got through it, and I've had a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting into Shadowbringers, which is the next one, and yeah, I'm literally kind of trying not to burn out of it because I've just literally just been playing that for the collab. But I also played Scarlet Nexus, which was cool.
Nice.
That's a third person like anime AF kind of like action game. So your Bayonettas, your Devil May Cries, that kind of thing. Pretty much a lot like that. I only played a little bit of it though.
My brother's boyfriend he's just really campaigning for me to play Bayonetta because it's his favorite thing of all time. And I have to say the way that he describes it makes me absolutely want to play it. Although now that I've said that live, I'm in danger of having to.
Oh no, you definitely should play Bayonetta because, like, again, like the gay energy coming from that game is top tier.
Excellent soundtrack as well.
Yes, yeah, the gameplay in that, and it's a bit weird because I mean, it's a lot of Japanese games are a little bit weird, but it's a lot of fun. I would definitely say give Bayonetta a go.
I'm here for weird. I love a bit of chaos.
Speaking of chaos.
Talking of chaos, I can hear chaos arriving.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Who's that? This is apologies. This is my kitten, Mochi. He's almost a year old.
Oh, Mochi's like, I'm out. I've had enough.
He's got a lot of energy.
Cats and streams, Cats and streams.
Oh, absolutely.
Fabulous mix.
I've had so many cat butts just right kind of here, just a cat butt floating. And I'm just like,
it's not a gaming podcast without a tail going past the screen or something. It really isn't.
He seems a little bit more chaotic today than usual. He's literally climbing the wall, so that's
cool. So we'll expect the camera to come crashing down at some point, or the microphone to hit the floor.
I had time for a couple more things this week.
I got
PlayStation 5 finally, which was fantastic.
You broke through.
I managed to. So I used to work in a video game store, and I have friends that still work in the same store. So I used some of those connections to have them put one aside for me, which I felt very, very bad about. But yeah. I got a PS5. I played Astro's Playroom, and it was incredible. It was great. Fantastic little platformer.
Great as a marketing tool. And a good sort of way of showing off the controller. Sadly, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a very long time, I think, before any game properly embraces everything that controller can now do.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but did you also find? I think I'm going to have to get used to it because it tickles my funny bone. Like it actually tickles my funny bone, like it almost to the point of unpleasantness. That I'm like, oh, There's so many jiggles.
with the
Are you
with the
playing
different
it?
vibrations.
You're playing it
yeah,
with
and the
your elbow.
controller.
Yeah, I just think I'm not very into like the frequency of the vibration. It's that maybe it's just like the perfect frequency to like course through my bones, and I'm just there like, I don't know what it is. I think I'm just gonna have to get used to it.
I turned on the triggers for Borderlands 3, and I lasted about 10 minutes, and then I had to turn them off and swore never to do that again, because literally, if you're firing a machine gun, every time it fired a shot, it pushed back at the trigger slightly, so you're having to really sort of like pump the trigger and hold it down. And it's like, obviously in Borderlands, it's not a skillful game, so you're just sort of like spraying everyone, and you're fighting that trigger constantly. And I'm like 10 minutes in, and these fingers are sort of getting absolutely aching. Please, nobody make any jokes about that in the chat. And
I feel like in a game like The Last of Us, where it's kind of like a survival, you're not really going to be shooting that often.
Yes, exactly.
You want to hold on to your bullets.
Absolutely,
it would be quite exciting.
And probably the haptics and stuff that the whole. I mean, the things that Astros did with it was crazy. Like when you're walking through a puddle, you can feel sort of the puddle in your hand. Is just amazing. I mean, I think the Borderlands one, because they didn't really know what they're letting themselves in for, they kind of just went, oh, it's a trigger, and just turned it on. Didn't really do too much with it. But yeah.
I was going to say like that the amount that they can do with the vibration in that particular controller, just like when I'm walking through and it starts raining and you feel the pitter patter of the rain in your hands. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I do think it's probably going to go the same way as all like the things on PlayStation 4 did, where they didn't get used
complete
in
novelty
titles pretty much at all. Like, 'cause again, there's some great tech there, but I just don't see it getting used, unfortunately.
Who can remember when they released the PS4 and the PS4 and the PS4, where they had the middle buttony bit that you can sort of like touch and draw on? That was meant to be a game changer in terms of sort of like having to sort of control things through swipes and stuff. I don't think that ever got used beyond the kind of like, oh my god, we can do this. It just became a forgotten
games.
I think so. It just became a forgotten button that.
Yeah. If anything, they'd be first party though, and like all the third party games, you literally just like press it as like your select button.
That's it. Exactly. That's it.
Your map button. That's it.
That's it.
Which is a bit unfortunate.
I mean, sorry, you've got me thinking about it. I think it will be something that possibly people will pick up on. But I think as someone just commented in the chat, like you're going to get carpal tunnel. If you're playing if you're playing like Doom, or you're playing kind of like Call of Duty or something, unless you're playing as a sniper. But I think games, maybe like bows and arrows or whatever, like the idea that you sort of, as you draw the string back, it gets tighter, and then it fires, sort of thing. That's lovely. And if you sort of, I think if you're playing it on like Red Dead or something, as you said, Shura, that you only want to fire your gun maybe once or twice, and it's much more explorative, and you're walking through grass and you can maybe sort of feel that stroking the palm of your hand or something. That's could be interesting. I feel that might just
tickling your funny bone,
or tickling your funny bone. Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Maybe there's a game
an underrated moving games.
There's a horror game where you have to strap an additional controller to your back, and then you can start feeling stuff touching you from behind. That would be
okay. Moving on.
I am thinking about like the future of this kind of technology, though. How cool it would be to have like full VR with like the kind of like vibration sensor kind of suits, so you can start feeling like stuff all over your body.
As long as I don't have to play Visage with that, then I'm fine.
That would be an absolute nightmare. Yeah.
What TV show or film am I thinking about, or have I dreamt it, where people were getting suited
Ready
up?
Player One?
Possible. We're getting suited up in something that sort of like expanded and contracted and was like a vibration-y thing. When they were playing
I know they
VR.
have stuff like that in Ready Player One.
Was there a talking mushroom in that one as well?
Possibly.
Very
Might be a key theme of my dreams.
Yeah.
Other than that, I will say, so the PlayStation 5, fantastic. I do want some recommendations on games. I'm going to try and like pick up Head Returnal. It's quite good, so I'm going to try and maybe jump into that. But other than that, I've been watching Loki. Now, has anybody not seen Loki here? Because I'm not going to spoil anything.
I've seen the most recent one. I've seen it twice now because I had to watch the post credits.
Have you been watching Loki?
I have not watched a Marvel.
A Marvel, yeah. Okay.
In my life. Is it Marvel?
Yeah,
It is
well
Marvel. Yes. No,
I've
but I
not
love that you
watched
referred to it as a Marvel. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know why. I just haven't.
Fair.
Saving it for a rainy day, perhaps.
And that's
Carry
your
on.
choice.
I will spoil one thing, which is really cool, which was not in the last episode, but the episode before, that the character of Loki has actually confirmed to be bisexual now. Spoilers for everybody. It's a tiny little thing. It's like a line of dialogue. But as far as it goes with, LGBTQIA plus representation under the banner of Disney, I will take whatever I can get because they've not had the best history of representation.
Yeah. For the House of Mouse, that's not too bad. It's still, unfortunately, a throwaway line that won't mean anything to anyone. And that's just going to pass everyone else by.
It's definitely something that they could probably just like sweep under the rug and never mention again.
Yeah.
So, but
I wouldn't really call that a spoiler. So people sort of freaking out. There are much more things I can talk.
It's Peach. Peach is not really freaking out. It's just Peach being naughty.
Okay. Sorry, Peach.
I'm gonna get
Naughty
some roasted
Peach.
peaches in the chat now. Peach on flambés.
Oh, that sounds nice, actually.
Yeah, delicious.
Yes, Loki, really, really good. Fascinated to see how things are starting to come up, and fascinating to really start to see how it all unpacks.
It is the best out of the series on Disney Plus
easily. This is the 4th episode, 6-episode series, 2 to go. I suspect we're about to find out about the real big bad, because we haven't seen them yet.
No spoilers.
Haven't seen them yet. That's not a spoiler. That's just a discussion point. If that's all of our weekly recaps, I suggest we move ourselves onto our bite-sized news, which is talking about odds and sods that we've seen in the news, or as I call it, the Mia bite-sized news. The first big piece of news, I think, going back to Xbox for 2 seconds, is that the Xbox Cloud gaming is now open to everybody that has an Ultimate Game Pass, both on PC and mobile. So that's very, very exciting for the world of cloud gaming. They're making big strides forward, and they're moving the kind of needle around and really kind of celebrating the fact that you can play a game on your console and then pick it up and walk out the door and start playing on your mobile. They had it in beta.
Was it? So it was like a limited beta test before, right?
So they had it on beta they had it on beta invite for the last couple of months. Because I talked about it, I think, on a few podcasts ago now, and I sort of said like it was a bit in terms of sort of like bandwidth and stuff, but that possibly just my shit internet. But I think they've already said that they're already starting to put this press release that said they're putting so much more resources now into this. And I think what's really clever is they're actually all of the games that you play, you can stream PlayStation to your mobile device, but it has to turn on your home PlayStation and we'll stream it from that basically. Whereas this actually streams from a kind of virtual world of Xboxes. And you basically kind of get given a sort of virtual machine of your own to play with, which is really, really clever.
I say it's again, I'm just going to repeat what I've said before, but it seems like it's a fantastic thing in terms of like what Xbox is offering with the whole, Game Pass Ultimate and like the huge library of games, essentially like the Netflix of the video game industry at this point. But the same thing with this. It's nice having it, but unless the infrastructure is there for high-speed internet in a lot of places, hugely. It's nice, but it's not really going to go.
Yeah, it's the same sort of debate around Google Stadia as well. Like it's not ready yet. Let's be honest. The Stadia's ready.
Google what?
Stadia, take your pick.
Google Stadia. No, I meant like that thing. Is that even still going? Like,
apparently
as
so.
As far as I'm concerned.
Apparently so. And the Amazon
project that Google threw away, right?
Yeah. And Amazon Luna's knocking around somewhere as well. I think it's right now. I think it's everybody just putting their ducks in a row, just to say they've got it. The internet, you're absolutely right, needs to catch up. 5G hopefully will get us to that point. Now we're having our vaccinations, and the world in general needs to speed itself up a little bit, absolutely. But I think it's a case of making sure that these things are right and they're sort of in and they're in place, ready for that. There's no, you can't as a company kind of wait for the internet to happen and then you try and then sort of put all that stuff in place. That just ain't going to happen.
There is an expectation, though, from some of these companies that, like, I think it was, I can't remember, it was a representative from Google Stadia who's like, yeah, we expect providers will increase their speeds to be able, for people to be able to use this service, thinking that they would have any kind of effect, unlike the monopoly that companies have on different
Mr. BT suddenly goes, oh my God, I need to up the, Google have told me to do this. I must make our internet faster. No, that's not how that works.
It's a bit of a pipe dream and it's nice to see, but again, you just need that infrastructure there. But
absolutely. I think it'll come in time. Shura, are you an Xboxer or are you a PCer or well, it's the same thing though,
so I have Game Pass, but I don't have an Xbox. So I have a PC, and I did also eventually get a PlayStation 5, which took a really, really long time. I don't think I've ever tried. It was easier to get a like my graphics card, which is like a 3080 Founders Edition, and they are really hard to get. It was easier to get that. I was kind of in Nvidia's Discord refreshing constantly for 2 months and kind of saw so much stuff that I didn't want to see also in that place, so many awful comments. But I did it for the graphics card for the stream. But I eventually got a PS5, but I'd love to have an Xbox too. I think if you can, I can't currently afford to have all of them, but one day, if you can have a bit of all of them, because they all offer something different. And I don't subscribe to the PlayStation versus Xbox at all. Just like I was excited that Liverpool won the Premier League, even though I'm a United fan.
I think certainly the PS5, the PlayStation versus Xbox thing is horrendously childish. But I think what you said was interesting. You actually have Xbox because you have your PC, and that is the wonder of the Xbox Game Cloud, the Xbox Game Pass, I should say, is that for Xbox, the Xbox is the environment. It's not the hardware that you're playing it on. And I think the idea that you can play your Xbox games, be that on the consoles versus the PCs, and even now on mobile devices, is they are very much kind of embracing that whole 360 kind of thing, which is really cool.
Oh, absolutely. And the Xbox would, if ever I was to get one, it would be so that I could have that in the living. That's where I could play games on the sofa rather than on my desk with my lights on.
I mean, I've only ever so we've got a PlayStation 5, but I also have a Series S Xbox. And to be honest with you, that's all you need. It's just the next gen console. If you don't have a 4K TV, if you don't have massive internet and everything else, you don't particularly need the Xbox Series X if you have the PlayStation 5. But I don't. I have a Mac, and so I don't have a sort of gaming PC. So I have to so my gaming PC in a sense is the Xbox Series S, which gives me that flexibility
on a Mac.
Imagine. Me too.
Imagine.
Actually, yeah. I started streaming on a Mac.
You can imagine then.
It was a horrible experience.
It was awful. It was so bad. MacBook. I could play only PlayStation games, and my community, the Shootopians, were like, "You need a PC, right? We're doing it. This is it. Had enough."
I literally remember my first stream. I was playing, like the fan game of the Metroid 2 remake. I think it was like another Metroid 2 remake. I had to have the window like a tiny little size inside of the screen, so it was occupying like less than a quarter of the screen for it to even stream without lagging. It was insane. But yeah, if you're gonna stream, get a PC. Everybody get a PC. Yeah.
I've been so amazed by. I never thought I would ever play games on a PC. I've just always played on console. Except for The Sims, actually. I did have a PC as a kid, and I had The Sims, and I was gay in The Sims before I could be gay in real life, and it was great.
Of course.
But after that, I never really went back, and it's. I mean, I rarely open. The only reason I open my MacBook now is to make music. I love it. The Windows is a bit funny with audio, and that can be annoying.
Yeah, Yeah, audio issues, especially if there's a Windows update, everything that you set up just
Yeah,
goes. It's
What?
gone. It's
I
gone.
don't want you to take the mic from my webcam. I never did.
God damn it, Windows. Now, I do have a story that I want to talk about
Oh yeah.
real quick.
I want to
if
hear
that's
it.
okay. Yeah. So basically, Respawn wants to introduce a transgender character in Apex Legends at some point. This is literally just based on, I believe it was like an interview or a few statements that the associate quality designer from Respawn, Mackenzie Galbraith, put out. And they were just talking about the non-binary representation that they have in the game with Bloodhound. Obviously, they are like this hunter character who's completely like head to toe just covered, and they have a I believe they have a female voice actor who's the voice of Beidou in Genshin. But they purposefully like modulate the voice so it's an NB character, which is really cool to see that representation up front and put forward. And now Mackenzie's been talking about like really wanting to have more trans representation in the game. They literally said that they want to see more trans and non-binary characters in the Legends universe, especially some who don't have masks to hide their face or obscure their voice. Having a character that's loud, proudly trans, and having their face front and center of the Apex launch screen is something that they hope to see someday, which I think is really great. Obviously, we've talked at length about Respawn and Apex Legends in general just being at the forefront when it comes to that kind of representation in their games, especially in the AAA industry too. And it would be really, really good to see them put more queer characters front and center. Just for how it makes people, the gamer boys freak out.
Absolutely.
And get angry about it.
I do it solely just to freak out the gamers TM.
I mean, that's
absolutely.
That's why I started streaming, is around, I started a year ago around The Last of Us Part 2. And I was just so horrified by everything, all the discourse around it, that in my naivety, because I also hadn't gone on Twitch, I hadn't found kind of content creators yet. I was like, I'm going on Twitch and I'm going to be gay and I'm going to stream this game and
they're going to fucking love it.
Yeah.
No, you can swear all you like. That's fine. Don't even worry about
it. Twitch told us as part of this program we should keep it all friendly.
Oh, really?
Like, no, we're
keeping it friendly.
This is the Gaming Podcast Live. That doesn't happen.
Okay. Yeah. No, we don't swear on this podcast.
I think
Definitely
you have to not be as because I know you were saying that you've got the front page. So
we've got front page on Thursday, but luckily it's not me talking. So we're safe. The next podcast we're doing, whenever that is, in other one that I wasn't meant to be around for, but the one I am now around for, and on the 18th of July, we're getting front page for that. So we've got to be a little careful with that one. But I'll probably say fuck at some point.
Have a little bleeper.
Oh, it's another button I've got to push. I've already got to push 10 buttons already. I can't do another button. I'll just say fuck.
Robin,
anyway, sorry.
Robin isn't a streamer, so he I mean, there's a reason that we use a separate program other than OBS to record these podcasts. So yeah, maybe if I was in charge, I'd put a bleeper in, but that it is what it is. Anyway, we're talking about
back to Apex. Yes,
gamer bros. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, absolutely. I more the merrier, and I think also it's about getting onto their turf as well. It's about we can make all the lovely sort of softly nice sort of fabulously queer games that they can just avoid, but it's actually getting up in their shit and sort of like getting that sort of representation in the games that they're playing.
I would say it's not necessarily doing it despite them either, but it's literally the only way that we normalize seeing queer characters.
It goes back to Rosemary, what she was saying at the top of the show about doing more of it, more normalization, and just being there. There should be queer characters. There should be kind of all kinds of representation. I will absolutely adore the day that Activision pull out some form of queer representation in Call of Duty. That'll be a momentous time for the world in general, and if that happens. But no, I think it's very needed. I think they're already been a fantastically diverse game. So yeah, well done them.
And I will say there are going to be the naysayers who are like, well, who cares? Like, nobody cares if you put like a queer character front and center. It doesn't change anything. Why are you doing it? What's the impact? But that, like, those same kinds of people are still going to be the ones who are out here calling the Bloodhound character he and him and referring to them by the wrong pronouns because they are more comfortable calling them that because they can't get over themselves. Like, this is literally why that's needed. Like, just acceptance and just being like, hey, yeah, they're referred to as they, and getting to a point where people say, oh, cool, yeah, they.
Yep.
That works.
Exactly. And I think if we can move that education forwards, chat's currently talking about the fact that The Last of Us 2 was just review bombed purely because there was a queer character in it, and The Last of Us 1, I suppose, as well. And it just... why? Let's just keep going, and I think that it'll all come good in the end. And I think it has to be, you have to be sort of loud and proud. It's the pride thing all over again.
The only thing is, I just hope that the kind of responses from the wider, like toxic sides of the community doesn't deter publishers and devs from doing that, because it's always thinking with money first rather than thinking of what's best, I guess, for it.
Well, I guess the big moment is when you see how they deal with this being available in territories where queer and trans lives don't matter, and I think that's going to, how they deal with that is going to tell you a lot about that. Like, is that character not going to be available to choose from? Is that character not going to be playable?
Or are they just going to scrub out all the references to any like queer?
Exactly.
Does anyone know how it? Sorry, just because it was, I guess, because another AAA game, and we're just talking about The Last of Us and it part 2 and being review bombed. Does anyone know what happened to that in places where it's maybe not legal? Was it released? I just don't know the answer to that. It was just a question.
I'm not sure, actually. I've not actually looked into how the international release went down for The Last of Us 2. That's definitely something to
like Google, isn't it?
It is something to look at, and something to do some work on, probably for us as well.
I was just curious. Yeah.
No, it's a great question. It's an absolutely great question. There's two options, really, isn't there? It's like, can you excise parts? Can you do the Disney cut? Can you sort of cut around those sort of story moments and leave them out of the game, or can you, or do they just go for it and just embrace it? Because knowing full well that in certain countries they're breaking the law, therefore they just wouldn't be available. I mean, it's already coming up in chat that it just wasn't, the game just wasn't available in certain countries.
But it was banned.
Which
I'd
is
rather
the same
not
as
be
movies,
available in those countries, because then you know that the actual devs are standing by their belief system.
Exactly.
Rather
and
than,
they're not doing the Disney cut.
Yeah,
it makes my heart hurt for the queer people there, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's really important not to compromise, but then also makes my heart hurt for people who are queer and can't be. Anyway, I'm gonna cry on a Monday. No.
Well, I will say VPNs exist for a reason. I'm not sure if that means you can download games from other regions, but those are always options if we have any listeners from those parts of the world. And
absolutely, we're not sponsored by a VPN at the moment, so I can't give you a discount code. But maybe
one
we'll
day.
work on that. Yeah. No, so that's
save it for Tuesday. Save the twos for Tuesday. I love that. I'm going to save them for Wednesday when England get knocked out of the the Euros.
Yes, football reference.
Sunday. I don't know when it is anymore. What is time? Sorry.
I thought the match was on Wednesday.
I think it is, but I think
my limited knowledge of football, I thought the England
I think
match.
I told you it was Wednesday earlier, and I've just forgotten. It is Wednesday. Yeah,
it's Wednesday. Yeah, it was It was the Germany-England match was Tuesday this week, just gone.
I was gonna say I have no idea what you all are talking about. How are we doing in the football? I've not been paying attention whatsoever.
We're into something called a semi, which I'm now interested in.
Okay.
Yes, semi-final. Apparently,
we're doing all right. It might be coming home, whatever that means.
Home.
Exactly.
I mean, it hasn't come home for 60 odd years, but there we go. Let's keep singing that appalling song. This is the gaming podcast. Let's talk about video games. We
FIFA. Let's go. FIFA games. Let's go.
yeah. I did sports ball earlier with Mario Golf. That's my level of
Dua
sport.
Lipa was in FIFA, and I'm like, but can I be in FIFA too? Because I played football, and I'm a gamer, and I'm a pop star too. Anyway, moving on. I love Dua, but yeah.
Let's start the campaign now. Shura for FIFA 2022.
Hell yeah.
My tackling needs to be 100. Anyway, carry on. We're moving on from football. Seriously, sorry.
Let's go from football to Dead by Daylight. We did a fantastic interview. I say the royal we. A wonderful writer for Game Magazine did a fantastic interview with a load of fog whisperers, which are the Dead by Daylight partners and behaviors in interactives community manager for us. And it was a fantastic interview that talked very much about how Dead by Daylight was becoming a cult queer classic. I think you have to be gay to play Dead by Daylight, I think.
At this point that's a rule, because like every queer content creator that I know plays Dead by Daylight or has played Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I think that is the rule. It's a fantastic sort of thing. I just wanted to bring it up at this point, A, to flag what a fantastic interview it was, but B, also just to sort of talk about like Dead by Daylight is a queer classic, and it's been so sort of like heartily supported by all of our fantastic queer content creators. And yeah, I just think that's just an interesting sort of talking point. So I was going to throw that open to the room.
Well, that's wonderful. I just to let you know, I can't get rid of that, so that's but we're gonna move on from that. But person not allowed to post any more messages. But we'll scroll over that. Don't worry
I just
about
threw
that.
some mod loves. I threw some mod loves into the chat.
It's gone, isn't it?
Just spam the chat. You know, you have your permission to chat spam at this point. There you go.
There you go.
Twitch
Dead by
definitely needs
Daylight.
to look at that,
Dead
'cause
by
that
Daylight,
overrides.
right?
Yeah. That overrides certain things. Anyway, Dead by Daylight. Yes, it's if you're queer, you're definitely into Dead by Daylight. Personally, like I've had a lot of fun with the series. It's one of those games that's like highly competitive as well. So I'd say it's very much, speaking of sports, it's very much like a sport. Have you had the chance to play Dead by Daylight? Shura?
I have played it. I had an incident where I fell off my chair, and I have not picked it up since. That's not to say I never will. In fact, I'm coming up to the anniversary of my first stream in a couple of weeks, and one of the games I think I'll be playing is that, because it was one of the earliest games that I played. I have a deep fear of being chased that I think stems from my twin. He used to chase me up the stairs as a kid, and he would try to like smack my bum. Like that, like my bum was this target that he would try to hit. And for the rest of my life, I now have a complex, not only about my bum being this enormous target, but also a fear of being chased. So it really taps into whenever I exercise, my reason for exercising, because exercise, let's be honest, is dangerous and no one should do it, is that the only reason I exercise is that I would like, in a scenario where I am being chased by a serial killer, to be able to run fast enough and long enough and be able to hurdle over a wall to be able to live.
Definitely.
So it really taps into a lot of deep fears. But no, it's really fun. The thing for me that actually was the biggest barrier was there's a lot going on. There's all these the kind of the perks. Is it
the perk system
perks?
is a lot at first. Like it's overwhelming.
A lot. It's really hard as a newbie coming to it. You're just like, I'm just trying to not die here. I've got to do a generator. It might explode on me, but I have friends that are on hooks and all these perks too. So I wish there was kind of like a mode where you didn't have perks to begin with.
Yeah, that's the shame as well, because if you're fighting against friends, then if you're playing against friends, like literally all the perks are available straight away too. It's like throws them all in your face, and you're like, well, I don't know what any of these
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah.
it's incredibly overwhelming. And then if you want to actually try and learn the game, you're kind of thrown into the ranked matches also, which are not kind to you if you're trying to get into it.
Yeah.
So it's a very
I'm really
difficult game
bad
to
with
crack.
horror as well. I mean,
Mm,
I'm
me
really,
too.
I
Same.
really scream.
Same.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I will say, I played with my community and it was absolutely hilarious.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And
It's
I love
definitely
watching
fun.
people play it. It's more fun watching than playing
Yeah,
yourself.
no, I have the same experience.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me angry, that game does. Like, I had to stop playing it for a little bit because I just got really, really angry about certain things, like paying for battle passes and then not being able to do certain things because my teammates were either selfish or not good at the game. So I had to step back from that and
Yeah.
try not to be a toxic individual or salty with certain competitive games like that. That's why I like nice, relaxing experiences like platformers instead. But no, I know a lot of queer content creators that play the game, and it's so much fun to actually watch them too. A personal friend of mine just actually got Fog Whisperer as well, and it's really been nice to see how much support they get from the developers themselves as a community, and how much support they give LGBTQIA plus people too. It's actually fantastic to see. So definitely go and check out that article and some of the streamers on there, because I
Absolutely.
imagine there'll be some scary, spoopy, amazingly wholesome times to be had.
And it also reminds me, actually, when I was early in the show, I was talking about things we have coming up in July. And I just remembered that I forgot to mention the last thing we got coming up in July, which is a Stream Queens panel. So we have five of the Stream Queens coming in to talk about their love of streaming and how drag and streaming and stuff. Because obviously, being a drag queen on stream, it's almost law, I think, that you have to play Dead by Daylight. And it just provided such a great platform for not only the game but also them and the sort of jump scares, and it's made for queer people streaming, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm definitely in full agreement.
I loved killing my subs. That was great.
Cool.
That was amazing. That was the best bit.
When you say
take anything
sub
away from today, always kill your subs, okay?
Yeah, yes,
Dead by Daylight.
that's yeah.
Definitely in Dead by Daylight. Oh my god, don't clip that. Bye.
Yeah. Don't show its behavior, please. Coming up, we're going to find out more about the wonderful Shura. But before that, we're going to take another awkwardly short ad break.
Does that mean I can pee?
Yes, you literally have 90 seconds to run to the toilet.
Oh my god, amazing. Might
Have
even
fun.
be able to wash
Wonderful.
my hands. Great.
Well, don't bother.
Awesome.
Okay, bye.
No. Bye.
COVID, of course.
And we're back. And Shura made it back from the toilet.
I'm blowing my nose.
Okay.
I need a warning. I need a
Oh my god.
nose paper warning. No, I'm kidding. It's totally fine. I muted myself, so at least no one heard it.
Cool.
That's I've
always a
had
good
the
move.
worst allergies recently, and I was so afraid that today would be nothing but sneezing. I've had to have the air purifier literally on the whole day just to so I could survive this
Have
stream.
you discovered the kind of antihistamine like nose spray, like the hay fever nose spray?
Kind of. I actually take like a steroid spray already, so it's a combination of that and this weird powder stuff that you shove up your nose. It's better than it sounds.
Well, some people might think that's really good.
Yep. I'm not changing it. So that's how I get through things. I get through the day by shoving white powder up my nose.
Oh my God.
You heard it here first.
Oh my Lord.
Anywho, guess what, Robin? What you got for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on from all of that nonsense, nonsense, whatever. Shura,
Look, a squirrel.
Yes, look over there. It's your time in the spotlight. Let's get to know you a bit more. Mia, it's your turn.
I know. What's talking?
Do I just talk?
No. We have set.
There are questions
for you. There are questions.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yes. Basically,
that doesn't sound threatening at all.
Yeah.
It's this isn't the interrogation part. That comes later.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So you are a wonderful entertainer, a streamer, but you are primarily best known for as a singer for your wonderful music. What first got you started in the music world? The world of music.
What first got me started? Sorry to bring it back to football again, but I'm going to. I played football from a very young age. Grew up in Manchester. I played for Manchester City, and what I experienced mostly was having to go out in the cold and the rain, in a freezing cold and the rain, in shorts and a t-shirt. And that started to stop making sense to me. I'm like, why do I, in the worst weather imaginable, wear the least amount of layers? And my dad had a lot of guitars lying around, and I thought, well, hang on, I can stop playing sport, and I can start playing guitar, and then I might become a rock star, and then I might become a lesbian icon, and then people will fancy me. It didn't quite work out like that. But I am warm, and so that's sort of how it happened. To be quite frank, no, I mean I started playing guitar at kind of 13. Wrote sad songs about how boring my life was, as most kind of teenagers I think do, and I just kept doing it. And I don't really know how I ended up being able to do this as a job. And I say this lightly at the moment because, let's be honest, musicians aren't really touring. But I was just very lucky. The first song that I released, I made a video for myself because I was working in TV and film post-production, which is why I think actually all the Twitch stuff was really fun for me too, because I was also sort of semi in that world. Released a song and it went viral, and off the back of that signed a record deal and was able to make my first record, and now I've made 2 and now I'm a pro gamer.
Nice.
Who's really shit at games.
As the world, welcome to the club. Seriously, as I mean, okay. So without sounding ridiculously gushing, your music genuinely is really sort of beautiful and transcends so many different genres. How would you best describe it? Because it's really difficult for me to sort of sit and put my finger on it and go, it's definitely that. What is it?
I mean, it's hard for musicians too to do that. I think the kind of the term that gets thrown around the most would be indie pop. So it is, there is elements of pop music, kind of catchy melodies, but it's not necessarily super shiny and super expensive sounding. with my first record, a lot of people would say that it kind of sounded like early Madonna, so 80s Madonna or kind of 90s Janet Jackson. And I was thrilled with both of those, being a huge fan of both. But I guess there is an indie element and kind of now, certainly for my second record, I think I delved more into kind of the 70s and rather than just leaning on 80s stuff. So yeah, I mean, I struggle just as much. Robin describing my own music. It's a bit gay, isn't it? That's what I'll say. It's a bit gay.
I've seen the music videos. They're very gay, and I appreciate them all the same.
And a lot of them have my twin brother in as well, who's also gay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Like I was literally putting the dots together. Like
everywhere.
Is that the one that used to chase you around, trying to use you as a target?
Yes, Nick. Okay. Never forgive you.
No forgiveness. No forgiveness. I will say personally, like having listened to it, I definitely can hear like that kind of Madonna-esque. I would say like ethereal Madonna is the kind of like thing that I would pop on there myself. Now I know it's been about 5 years since your debut album, wasn't it? Nothing's real, isn't it? I almost said Nobody's Real, but yeah, Nothing's Real is the name of the album.
I mean,
it's true right now. We're all sat on the screen.
Nothing's real. Nobody's real.
This is
Nothing's real.
Nobody's real.
That's very
what is time
for the moment.
There's a talking mushroom over here.
Yes. Nothing is. It's all a dream. But I do know that you got a special celebration stream coming up to commemorate that. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So on Saturday, the 10th. Is it the 10th?
10th.
I'm doing a 5-year anniversary of my debut record, which is terrifying to think that I'm old enough to have an album that's old enough to be 5 years old, and it's going to be on the US front page of Twitch, which I'm also so excited about, but so scared about. I'm like,
have you ever done a front page stream before?
No, it's my first.
Okay, they'll send you a list of do's and don'ts for that. So
don't swear. They said don't swear too much. Yeah, so I'll have my bleeper ready. Robin, I'll be thinking of you.
Thank you.
That extra button. So I'm doing that, and so that'll be kind of, I guess, a deep dive into the record. I'll be playing kind of really early versions of songs. So there's a version of Touch which is kind of the first song that I released that went viral, where the verse is completely different. It sounds like a different song. And honestly, if I'd released that, I wouldn't be sat here talking about my records. I don't think I would have got a record deal, and also songs that, didn't make the album for whatever reason in kind of nearly finished or demo form. And also just celebrate, like it's been really tough for nearly 2 years to not tour and not have any interaction, not have that energy passed across a room with people who love your music. And I think Twitch, whilst obviously I'm mostly gaming on Twitch, there's this really nice space where I can engage with people who give me life too. Like I know my records give people life, or like or carry kind of special memories for people because it soundtracked a year or a relationship or a heartbreak or whatever. And I just want to spend kind of 3 hours remembering and also being really proud. I think sometimes we forget to say well done to ourselves as people, or no matter what we do. And it's kind of nice to just sit and go, wow, I did that. Thank you, me. Thank you for all being there and for loving me. Like my mum came on stream by accident. She called me the other day, and she's Russian, so I'll do the voice. And she was like, I was like, do you have anything to say to the stream? She's like, I just want to say I love you, and I love you. I love Shura, and I love you for loving her. And it was I honestly thought I was going to like cry on the stream.
That's the most wholesome thing I've heard all day. Oh my God.
Mia, I'll send you, Robin, I'll send you both the clip of it because it is hilarious.
Please do.
Really
Please do.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing if we had that clip ready, wouldn't it? Like we could just play this straight away.
We'd have needed an extra button though, so I think it would have been a non-starter.
I'd have needed an 11th finger or something. So Twitch, obviously, it's and your music, it's a coming together of those two worlds, the sort of the world that you were in and the world that you find yourself in right now. What was your way into, what got you started in streaming, playing games on stream?
I was playing games because I play games, and it was at the very start of the pandemic, and I was playing a lot of games just to sort of deal, like, or to not deal, probably more accurately, to not deal with what was happening. And I was in New York, and I had this smart TV. I don't have a TV in England, so I was like, what's this? There's a Twitch app. Okay. I was like, Twitch, that's where people watch people play games. I was like, why would anyone want to watch someone else play a video game? I love video games. I want to play them. I don't want to watch someone play. So it's like, it was purely out of curiosity. I clicked. And I found the first person that wasn't like a straight white dude playing The Last of Us. And within 5 minutes, not even, kind of within a minute, I was like, I get this. This is amazing. So I was expecting to sort of think it was silly, and I was just so impressed by it and moved by it. And then I followed this person. I created an account. I followed them, and I was listening. You know, it was at night. All the lights were off, and this huge alert came on, and it said, "We are Shura's followed," and I screamed, and I was like, "This is fantastic! This is." And I think from there I just thought, well, maybe I should try it. Maybe I'd find it fun. And I my first stream, I was absolutely terrified, and I was doing it on a Mac, and it was awful. And I'm so sorry to all of the Shootopians who had to endure that. But I just, I was just so surprised by it, and I loved it. And I now I actually watch streams. It's not just that I stream, but it's one of those things where I think a lot of the time we're kind of, maybe you'd go to Netflix and you'd sit there for hours thinking, what should I watch? And actually I'm like, I don't want to do that. Oh, this person that I'm following, that I know and I like, whose content I like, is live. I'm just going to go there, and I just hang out for 2 hours, and I'll chat sometimes. And sometimes I'll just sit and eat a pizza and just have a lovely time.
It's like going around to a mate's house, isn't it? It's
exactly that. It reminds me of being in the attic of my room back home in Manchester, and it was all the kids on your street would come round, and you'd have like ice cream and dominoes or whatever it was, and you'd all be playing Mario Party, and I love the chatting. It's just and I think right now for me, that's the talking. It's been such a kind of amazing experience to just be like, hi. And the people, it doesn't have to necessarily be the content creator. It just the people in the chat, and they're like, welcome, and you're like, thanks. It's like the opposite of going to like a douchey cool party where you're like, it's just, I mean, I guess it depends on the streams you watch, but
yeah, I mean, it
I
can be
just love it.
extremely different depending on whose stream you go to. You're not always going to have a wholesome time. I will say though that you are a fantastic content creator. It's nice to see like openly queer representation. Like, just I would call you a figurehead essentially, and it's so great that you're actually on Twitch and getting to have those interactions with the people watching. With that notion in mind, what kind of thing do you think you feel attracts people to your content and your stream? Like, is it the is it the type of oh god, what's the word I'm searching for? Is it like the community you've cultivated? How would
Shootopians, help! You tell me. I think
it's always a difficult question. Because like you're judging yourself there. It's like, what is my unique selling point? That kind of thing.
It's like what describe your music to you. It's like it's similar. I think the community is a big part. It's predominantly queer. People who like me, like, because I'm a member of the queer community too, like me, have been maybe really afraid to play a game like Fortnite online. Like, I never would have ever done it, and suddenly I have a Discord where at kind of 1 a.m. when I can't sleep, I can go Fortnite. And I know that I'll just play for an hour with some lovely hilarious people, like lovely hilarious human beings. I'm just like raving about, I'm not even raving about myself, I'm raving about people.
No, I would say though, like you you kind of went over a point there. It's like, again, it's seeing people like yourself that you can interact with, and I imagine for a lot of people, you would probably represent that too, like somebody like them who's just generally having a chill time, again, like you're going around a mate's house and just having fun, having wonderful conversation with people. I'd say that's definitely one of the
I think they
attractions.
also enjoy watching me in extreme distress. I will say that.
That also helps. Yeah.
Yeah, they've all learned not to wear headphones, put it that way, or to turn them down if they are.
What have been some of the highlights of your first year on stream?
Oh, this is good for me because I need to think about it for my anniversary. I think there was one time where it was a Christmas stream, and we were playing Phasmophobia with 3 other members of, or maybe 4 members of my community, and we'd all planned to wear Santa hats. So we all bought this. We didn't tell anyone. We were all going to dress as Santa and play Phasmophobia. And I went live, and suddenly everyone was just typing and going, laughing. And I was like, what's going on? And they were like, have you been to Hema's stream, or have you been to Queer Nerd stream? Because they were all streaming. And I was like, no. And I went on their stream, and they had all dressed as nuns instead of, so they had all tricked. So we thought we were going to trick the whole community into being Santas, and they had in fact tricked me into all being nuns, because there's a music video of mine where I'm a pope and I'm marrying lesbian nuns. And then I was just there like with the Santa hat, just like, what, are you kidding me? And that was kind of a really wholesome moment. I think me getting so scared that I accidentally like crashed into my cat and broke my chair was a highlight. I dressed
amazing.
up as Stonks for, I don't know, do you know the Stonks meme? It's like a bald suit character in Fortnite, and as part of a sub goal, I unfortunately agreed to dress up as Stonks and play Fortnite, and so everyone wore the Stonks skin. I was dressed as Stonks, and there was this train emote where you can all go on a train together. So we were just in a battle. We were kind of in a team rumble, just getting a train as like 30 Stonks. It's absurd, isn't it? Streaming, it's absurd.
Yeah, it's definitely absurd, but you can't have these moments anywhere else but live streaming.
And if you told me a year ago that I'd be wearing a bald cap with my dad's suit and an elasticated blue tie, it's
I'm going to need to see
amazing.
the clips from that stream now too.
I will.
Fantastic.
There's a list now.
I was so scared of my girlfriend watching it. I was like, please don't watch this stream. Please. You may
You're
never
going to have
fancy me
questions,
again.
and I don't want to be in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. She did say actually that she was like, oh, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. And I was like,
Oh, really?
I'll keep the cap then.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
So we've talked about your highlights. Obviously, you probably say one of the lesser times was probably your first stream. Again, struggling to stream on a Mac. Speaking of starting out streaming, what advice would you give to other people, just in general, queer people who are thinking about streaming and they might be like a little hesitant to get into it? What would you say to them?
First thing I would say is don't spend a lot of money doing it until you know it's something that you like, because it's definitely not a cheap hobby. If you have a PlayStation, you can stream. If you know, or an Xbox, you can stream. If you've got a PC, you can stream. I do think that it would be good. I think it's good to try and find a community, if you're not building one necessarily, to try and find and become part of a community, and watch other people who stream who are queer and learn from those. Because I mean, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, so I just watched people, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. How have they done that? And I just YouTube it. That you can learn everything on YouTube. There's not a thing you can't learn on how to do on YouTube, and so it's being resourceful. It's you don't have to spend a lot of money. It's like try to find a lovely community where there's a few, or just with your friends, but also just do it. And if I've been very lucky where I was in a position where, because I was, a moderately successful pop star, I could have mods straight away. Because I had people in the community who kind of volunteered. I don't even think I really understood what a mod was or did. I was just like, apparently I need mods. And honestly, gay gods bless the mods. But yeah, if you, that would be something that I would say, like, have friends do that for you, and you get to a level where kind of people are watching, because unfortunately the reality is that, if you're using the tags, there will be people who just want to ruin your day, and really the best thing is to ignore it. We have a gay bomb actually on our like a gay bomb kind of what's it called, command, where if someone comes in and says something homophobic, it just spams the word gay, the gay pride emote, so that we just
that's amazing. I may have to steal
so I
that
made
idea.
that.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
no, please do. And I just made it because emote, so you can only do it if you're a sub. So I made it something that everyone can do. So you can just spam the chat with big gay pride, to just get rid of it. I mean, obviously the mods also delete it, but I also just don't think I'm in a position to like really give advice on streaming, because I'm still I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm still learning, and I'm learning from people who've been doing this for years and are much, much better at it than me. But I really enjoy it. And I think if you're thinking about doing it, just try it and do it to, just send it to your friends to start with. Because it is a weird thing to talk,
Yeah, I will say you'll be talking to yourself for a while when you start streaming. So yeah, it's absolutely like super odd to do that. But like, again, some of the people you'll meet through this are potentially some of the best relationships you'll have. So like you said, just start.
Yeah.
Just to finish off then, so do you have any, obviously we talked about writing your third album, so what's coming up in the world of Shura, both on stream and in music form?
I'm wondering as much as you about the latter, because I tell you what, streaming takes up quite a lot of time. It's not just it's not just the 3-4 hours you're live. There's a lot, even for this Saturday, I'm like going through the archives and trying to, make special scenes. And no, but I've started writing, and as is always the way for me, I don't write 100 songs per record. Maybe I'll write 15 and I'll pick the 10 best. Normally I just write and at some point in maybe 5, 6, 7 songs down the line, there'll be one song or 2 songs where I'm like, that's it. That's the linchpin of the next project. But at the moment I'm doing remixes. I have a remix coming out soon that's for another person that my community may or may not have guessed, because they've kept it a really bad secret. It's definitely not Lady Hawk. So that's coming out soon, maybe, or not. Pip spoiled it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly it's coming out.
Allegedly.
So I'm doing bits but that's the thing. The other thing with the world as it is, I'm doing a lot of remixes to survive financially, and all these things that I'm doing to sort of be able to have a roof over my head, eat into the time that I could be writing to make a record. But it has begun, and I think I'll figure it out in the next year or so. I mean, it always takes me like 3 years to make a record anyway, so this one might take 4.
Yeah, I will say there's so much uncertainty right now as well with everything that's going on. Is there, like, when things eventually go back to normal, are there certain things that you'll want to do?
Well, so I'm supposed to be playing Gay Pride in Manchester in August.
That sounds fun. If that happens, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Yeah. I mean, and I'm from, I grew up in Manchester, and I saw the Gossip play in Manchester. It's where, it's my first gay clubbing anything was in Manchester. So and I've done it once before. So if that happens, I will probably cry. Fingers crossed, touch all the wood.
Absolutely.
It's hard, but it's also hard to, when you know that you have a government, sorry to bring it up, but that's not really dealing with stuff well, to get excited about stuff.
Absolutely right to say.
As is today's announcement, they're not dealing with it at all.
Yeah, they're abdicating all duties. Yes. So it's hard to also get pumped about something where you're like, should this happen? it can, but should it? And there's a lot of, I think a lot of musicians will be wrestling with that. I did say yes to another gig, in a faraway land that I can't talk about, that's happening maybe later in the year, and so there will be concerts, maybe, who knows. But we're all just, none of us know, right? None of us know, and we're just doing our best and to survive it. And honestly, thank the gay gods for Twitch and for streaming, because it's kept me, it's given me a project and that I really like.
Have you ever thought about writing on Twitch? I know there's it's just gone blank in my brain. There's Bad Andy Writes, he's a writer of prose as opposed to music, but he writes on stream. That's one of his things. Like he plays games.
But about who owns the rights to that once you've done it.
That's a good point.
Who owns the rights to it if you've streamed it? But I don't mind. I'd love to do kind of remixes, and like I've talked with them, with the community, about doing kind of redemptions where, like meditation redemptions, and maybe together we could make the music for those, where we could do kind of like chill out stuff. So I'd love to do that, but also writing like songs for records is such because I'm autobiographical. It's so intensely personal that I would find that was the other thing
I would have mentioned. It's like it's your process as well, and do you want to let other people in on something that
I can't give you away all the top tips. The top tips are just me fucking up a lot. Oh, sorry.
We need that second button. So here comes the pressure bit then. So we always finish with quick fire questions.
This is the interrogation.
This is the interrogation.
Yeah, literally, it's a bit of fun. First thing.
Bye.
Stream's over. Bye, everybody. Wrap it up. So basically, it's literally, don't worry about it. It's the first thing that comes to the top of your head, essentially.
That's what I worry about.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll find out what happens. What's been your favorite game this year?
Fortnite. See, why?
What was the most memorable game from your childhood?
Mario Party.
Ooh. Who's your favorite video game character?
Ellie from The Last of Us.
Nice. What game do you most want a sequel to?
The Last of Us Part 2.
So part 3.
Yeah.
Who would be your dream stream guest if you could get anyone in the world?
Anyone in the world. Pip, Ladyhawk.
Nice. What game are you most looking forward to coming out?
No, actually, it would be my twin. Sorry, that it would actually be my twin, because I've been trying to get him on stream for about a year, and he won't.
Aww.
But Pip, you're always welcome Pip's been on my stream. That's why I deleted that answer. Sorry. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
That's okay. What game are you most looking forward to coming out?
The next Mass Effect, whenever that is.
Yeah, good choice. If you were marooned on an island, this is a special island.
It's a very high-tech island.
It's apparently got internet. What 3 games would you want to have with you?
Oh, that's such a good question. 3 games. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The Sims. And probably The Last of Us Part 2. That's a really weird mix.
It certainly covers all the bases.
It's a good variety.
Stray. Why didn't I say Stray? I want Stray. It's not out yet.
Which game has the best soundtrack?
Last of Us.
Okay. I mean, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. That's an absolutely good choice. Now, this is the final question.
It's not even necessarily true, but it's so good. It's just the first one that came to my brain. Legend of Zelda, also Ocarina of Time. Amazing soundtrack.
Very good soundtrack. This is the last question. Feel free to take your time on this one. As long as you want. You can think about it as long as you want to. But it is, where can people find your content, and what have you got coming up on the channel?
/something Shura. No, I'm kidding. They can find me on Twitch at twitch. I don't think I've ever done this. twitch.tv/Shura. And then on Instagram, I'm Shura. And then on Twitter, I'm finally Shura. Took a long time. But I'm now also Shura. And then no one uses Facebook anymore. So
Not really.
Well, only conspiracy
except for
theorists.
my
don't
my
talk about.
dad. My dad. I know. I'm like, Dad, get off there. Like, you're not like the rest, please. Yeah.
And of course, you've got the Saturday stream, the 10th, was it?
Oh yes,
10th?
Saturday
Yeah.
10th. Yeah, 5-year anniversary. Please come and throw nice things in the chat, 'cause we'll be on the front page, and I'm scared. I'm scared. Help.
I think you'll
I'm
be
scared.
absolutely fine. You're gonna absolutely rock it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Good luck for that. Good luck for everything. Shura, thank you
so
so
much. For having
much.
me, Robin and Mia. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been
it's
so
been
much
an
fun
absolute
having
pleasure.
you. You've been a fantastic guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will wrap this up there and say thank you, everybody, for joining us on this very special episode of the Gaming Podcast Live. We will be back in 2...
I'm sorry.
Now with flute. Recorder, I guess. We will be back. We're never going to have another guest like Shura. Amazing. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with our next Gaming Podcast Live DIGIPRIDE special. Did we confirm the guest for that?
Sort of, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
all right.
Not confident enough to sit here and say it's going to be so and so, because we've done that before, and it hasn't been so and so. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay.
So find out who that is. Follow gaymingmag.com follow Gaming Mag on all of the socials, and you'll find out about that. If you want to listen to any of these episodes, the Gaming Podcast Live is available on all good podcast platforms.
Of course. And if you're listening to this on those platforms and you want to watch these recordings live, head on over to twitch.tv/gamingmag and hit that follow button. But as always, in the meantime, don't forget to keep reading Gaming Magazine. And we will see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye now. Bye.